Flyer Nation. I'm your host, Brandon Najera, and I'm joined by head coach of Lewis Baseball, Mike Vucsko, and later I'll be joined by senior catcher Jason Krol. In your career, you moved around quite a bit since 2012, including assistant coaching stints at Western University, Quincy University, and the hitting coach of the Eau Claire Express, a team that produced big leaguers such as Sam Haggerty of the Seattle Mariners and Alex Call, who now plays for the Washington Nationals. Can you tell us more about your background and what got you into coaching and why you chose to work at Lewis?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. Appreciate it. So I graduated from Lewis 2011. Wanted to get into coaching. The coach I played for, Tim McDonough, he was a big influence on me, helped me, land a couple jobs there, at Western Illinois and then at Quincy University. And then I was lucky enough for him to hire me back here in the summer of 2014. And I was his assistant for a little bit before I became head coach here in 2022.
And in your career, you've been doing this for a while. How has your coaching evolved, and how do you think that has contributed to Lewis baseball?
Good question. I think it's just learning your team, having relationships with your players, understanding who they are, what motivates them, what doesn't motivate them. So, adapting every year is, and changing, like you said, that's definitely, you got to do that as a coach if you want to be successful. So that's just the approach I try to take, is just having good relationships with our players.
You mentioned the players a lot. What do you say is the most rewarding part of coaching?
Just the hard work paying off. Seeing guys come in as a freshman, being a little physically weak, and then just watching them grow into a young man, is really, really rewarding. Watching them succeed on and off the field, I think is a really good feeling. This past weekend we just got back from Cincinnati, and we had a kid who his first college at bat, junior, hit a home run in his first college at bat. So that was a great experience for him, for maybe a top 5 moment of my coaching career, just watching all the hard work kind of pay off for him.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah.
This season marks 10 years of coaching here at Lewis. In that time, you had swaths of players earn different JLVC recognitions and rewards. You also had many JLVC tournament berths, and you boast an overall winning record. What's the biggest key to replicating the success you and your team have had since starting Lewis baseball?
We've had a ton of success over the last handful of years. I think the biggest thing is just bringing in good student athletes who are going to take care of their academics and then their baseball, and just keep problems off my desk is always goal number one. And I think all the wins come along with just handling, your business off the field, and then you handle it on the field.
Between 2008 and 2011, you played baseball for Lewis University. How did the program prepare you for coaching, and what are some ways the program has improved since then, including things you've done to help the success of the program?
Yeah, the success of the program, you mentioned it right before we got on here about the field. It used to definitely not look this way when I played, but we got a beautiful turf field here. We got a brand new locker room that's only 4 years old, so those are the big improvements that help with recruiting and getting guys here. Everyone wants nice things, right? So providing them with a field, locker room, we have a players lounge upstairs. All that stuff is, we used to change in our cars or our dorm rooms back when I played. So giving these guys this luxury is great. So those are the two big improvements. And then as far as, it's just a totally different student athlete nowadays as opposed to a handful of years ago, just with social media and things like that. But the kids are great. We got a great team. We got a great group of guys. They're really fun to coach. They come to the park ready to work every single day. I have very, very few complaints.
It is a really nice field.
It is, yes.
Your father, Kirk Vucsko, played basketball and baseball here at Lewis. At Lewis, he's the third in career pitching victories and second in single-season pitching victories. He was part of the 1980 team that holds the single-season school record for winning in a single season at 63, and the national runner-up team. Eventually, your father was drafted by the Los Angeles Dodgers and became a member of the Lewis Athletics Hall of Fame. I'm sure your father was a huge inspiration for you and your baseball career. What is something you learned from him that you use today?
He questions my pitching decisions a lot. No, I'm just kidding. He does do that though. But no, I just bounce ideas off him. What do you think of this? What do you think of that? He's at just about every single home game that we had, ever since I became head coach. So, he's always trying to help me become a better coach, just with, why'd you do this? Why'd you do that? Did you think of that? Did you want to do this? And just being a sounding board. he's been great for me. With him playing here too, this is his, quote unquote second home. He cares a lot about this place, wants the program to, succeed. So, but yeah, he's as good as it gets. I don't know. I definitely wouldn't be here without him.
Yeah, so he's like a guiding hand almost.
Absolutely.
When we come back, we'll have more with head coach Mike Vucsko, and later we'll be joined by senior catcher Jason Krol. Stay with us.
The Ray Strong Foundation was created about 4 years ago. It came after, as a couple, we had our first child. She was born at 24 weeks. She weighed 1 pound, 12 ounces. Then she proceeded to spend another 4 months in the NICU. That was the time that she should have been growing in the womb. During the 4 months, we visited her daily, and we got to sit down with the doctors and the nurses, and the amount of medical knowledge and what they can do to make sure that your child survives is amazing. And just the experience, it was nothing we could have ever been prepared for. So emotionally, we became very tied to the micropreemie world. And that was when we decided to create a foundation with the goal of trying to give thanks back to the NICUs, the nurses, and then also provide any sort of emotional or financial help to other families that might experience what we went through.
We've had the opportunity to host over 40 events, celebrating micropreemies, fundraising, and bringing awareness to micropreemies and their families. When you get a chance, check us out on Instagram, Facebook, or our website at raystrong.org. Donate, and thanks again for all the support.
Thank you.
Welcome back. Today we're speaking with baseball head coach Mike Vucsko. Coach Vucsko, what's the biggest thing you've learned from coaching career so far?
The biggest thing I've learned would probably have to just be the relationships with the guys. I do think, everyone wants to get caught up in wins and losses, and I do realize how important that is. But, having alumni text me after big wins or tough losses, that means a little bit more to me than just the wins essentially on the field, just having the relationships with the players and things like that. After we won our first game this past weekend in Cincinnati, I had 10, 11, 12 alumni just, hey, congratulations, first win, go do it again 30 more times, or good luck this season, coach. So that means a lot coming from guys who had played here, or I helped recruit to get here. Just guys who really care about the program and, want to see us do well.
You really value the tight-knit group then?
Absolutely, absolutely. I just think it's so important. Just, baseball is going to be a game where it's not always going to be highs. There's going to be ups and downs, but I think what gets you through the downs is the relationships with the guys. I think that, when guys are going through struggles on the field, maybe even off the field, having me being a sounding board or a mentor to them, to get through that, knowing they have an extra more support in their corner, I think they realize that, and it goes a long way.
And you started as an assistant coach here at Lewis in 2014. Eventually became the interim head coach in 2017, followed by being named the 5th head coach in the program history in 2021. What are some challenges you had moving from assistant coach to head coach?
Yeah, there was a lot of challenges for sure. I would say the biggest thing is, making the ultimate decision. I think as an assistant, you make suggestions. As the head coach, you make decisions, and sometimes it's the wrong one, sometimes it's an unpopular one, but you're trying to do what's best, what you think is best for the team. But that's the biggest thing, is like when something goes wrong, everyone kind of looks at you, but it is, it's part of the job, and it is what it is.
Would you say you felt more pressure as the head coach than the assistant coach?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Regarding scouting players, what does it look like for the program? Where would you say you get most of the players? Are they from high school?
Yeah, we get majority of guys from our high school, probably about a 30-mile radius around Lewis. Every once in a while we'll be able to venture out there. Someone will kind of approach us, with aviation, something like that. But majority of our guys are about a 30-mile radius around Lewis, high school guys. But we do have a couple transfer portal guys that, were from the area, went to a Division I, want to get closer to home. So, all of our starting pitchers this past weekend in Cincinnati, all of them were JUCO guys, went to a junior college, and all of them transferred in here from a 4-year school as well. So I think you got to have a little bit of mix of both.
Yeah. And regarding the high school players, what would you say the recruitment process looks like for them?
Yeah, everyone's a little bit different. You know, obviously, number one, we're looking at academically, making sure they can succeed at Lewis. You know, we don't want to put anyone in a position where they might fail. So, you know, making sure academically they're checking those boxes, and then from a baseball standpoint, you know, just making sure they have the proper skill set in order to succeed here. So, you know, speed, hustle, power, you know, arm strength, things like that. Just making sure they're checking all those boxes.
Thank you, Coach, for taking the time with us today. You know, I really appreciate that. Thank you for sharing the insights for your baseball program as well.
Thanks for
I would
having
like
me.
to wish you good luck for this season, and you know, hopefully you guys play some great baseball.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. Coming up next, we have senior catcher Jason Krol.
For over 50 years, WLRA has been on air showcasing countless students. As the first all-digital college radio station, Lewis University students are given access to industry-leading equipment. Equipment that commercial stations utilize, equipment that creates, and equipment that brings radio to life.
I like WLRA because it gives me the opportunity to get experience with news broadcasting and working with radio.
Stop by De La Salle 210 or at WLRA Radio to get started on your radio career.
Welcome back to Flyer Nation. I'm joined by senior catcher Jason Krol. Welcome, Jason.
Thank you.
How do you stay motivated and focused during this season, especially during the games?
I think the biggest part is the dugouts kind of relax me. The guys in the dugout, they like to joke around a lot, so I think it centers myself back into this is just a game and I'm having fun while I'm doing it out there. And I also think that I've been doing this my whole life, that I always stay motivated while I play.
You know, what's the biggest challenge you have faced as a player, and how do you work through that?
I think the biggest challenge I faced is just kind of showing up every day. Like, we played yesterday and got back home late, and now we're out here practicing. I had to wake up this morning for class, so I think just constantly, it's always a challenge being a college athlete, so I think just accepting that it's going to be hard is the easiest way to do it.
So it's more of like you just getting ready for the challenge and taking it on. How do you handle the pressure in the game, especially when the game is on the line?
That's a very good question, and I don't really think there's a good way to answer that, but I think just the best way is breathing, and I think centering yourself and just going through the process of you've been doing this your whole life, and again, it's just a baseball game. Like, the sun comes up the next day, you get to play the next game, so regardless of the outcome, there's always another challenge in front of you, and you always get another opportunity.
So you almost see it like as a routine thing?
Yeah, I would definitely base it as a routine, and baseball is a big game where routines matter a lot, whether it's putting your cleats on a certain way, tying your shoes a certain way, doing the same thing when you step in the box or go on the field. There's always a routine when you play baseball.
Is it almost like a superstitious thing?
Yeah, I would definitely say that baseball is another very superstitious game. I mean, there's a professional baseball player by the name of Aaron Judge who said that if he gets out while he's chewing a piece of gum, he spits it out and puts another one in. So I think that baseball is a game where if something doesn't feel right at that time, you try and almost change just the most smallest thing that you possibly can change and see if that works.
And as a routine, how would you prepare yourself for a game during the season?
During the season, I like to get to the clubhouse. If we play at noon, I like to get there around 8:30. And kind of sit down on the couches and relax and just mentally prepare for the game. I like to watch TV before the game too. And then when everyone gets there, I like to just hang out and talk with the guys and then put the uniform on and go out there and take BP before the game.
It seems very like a family-based team.
Oh yeah, I would say this team is very much a family. I mean, the seniors look out for the freshmen, the sophomores look out for the freshmen, juniors look out for the sophomores. I think every year that's above the freshmen, we all look down at each other and kind of protect each other and try and build a culture that when the freshmen are seniors, they could pass it down to the new freshmen. So I think that this game specifically is a very big family game, and doing things a certain way and doing things how the coaches want you and how they preach. I think that's what builds a good culture and a successful program.
Yeah. And what would you say your favorite thing is about playing Lewis baseball?
That's a very good question. I think one of my favorite things I would say is, I mean, some of the guys on the team I've grown up with and I play baseball with in the summer, so I think the ability to build connections and relationships outside of baseball is another thing. I think also meeting guys that are not from the state, like our GA, Tom Fox. He was a player here and he's from Virginia, so learning different cultures of how he lives life and how he goes about things is very important to me, and I think that's a big way of how we be successful, is learning from each other.
Jason, I noticed that you're a senior now, graduation's coming up. What would you say life looks for you after graduation?
That's a good question, and I don't really have the answer to that. I think I'm graduating with a sports management degree, and I would like to get into some sort of either coaching or the sports world, but I really don't have an answer what I want to do past college yet. I think I'm still trying to figure that one out.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
joining us. I really appreciate that. Thank you. That's it for this episode of Flyer Nation. I was joined by Coach Mike Vucsko and senior catcher Jason Krol. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time here on Flyer Nation.